Hey, hi Nilanjan, Anya here.
Hi, Ananya. Good morning.
Good morning, very good morning. So Nilanjan, my question is pretty similar what Anshul has said just now. So
Mhm.
uh, my questions are as followed. First of all, congratulations for your marvelous result again. And
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
my questions are as follows that what was your strategy for last 2-3 weeks prior to the real GMAT? Question number one. Question
Just sorry to interrupt. Will it be fine for you if I answer one question at a time and then you move to the next question? Because it will be
Sure, sure,
difficult for
sure.
me to remember and then jot
Sure,
it
sure,
down.
sure, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So coming to my strategy in the last 2-3 weeks, so I finished off with my syllabus around in 2 months. So it took me around 58 days. So I had my timelines. So it took me around 58 days to go through the whole syllabus, and then I started with the revision part. So what did I do in the revision? So last 4 weeks was my revision timeline. So for the first 3 weeks, I used to take a mock every Sunday, like 3 weeks, three mocks on Sundays, and the rest of the days, like Monday to Friday, I had my office. So basically, what I used to do is I used to wake up in the morning at around 6 o'clock, do 3-4 RCs, solve some questions on like any topic on maths, like half an hour to RC, half an hour to mathematics or quants, what you'd say, whatever you would like to call it. And then after coming back from office, I used to give a sectional if I had time. And someday I used to come back around 9-10 at night, so I didn't have time for a sectional. Then what I used to do is I went through my notes. Like when I was completing the syllabus, I used to make notes on whatever topic I was studying, and like I had my notes, formulas, notes, like for SC, I had my grammatical like um, grammatical, what do you say, rules and regulations. So everything was written somewhere. So I used to revise them if I didn't have time to go through a sectional. But mostly for the last 2-3 weeks, it was sectional, mocks, and some revision. That's it. Yeah.
Ananya, you are on mute.
Okay, sorry. And how many mocks did you give? And in the real exam, so this may be a silly question, but again, I'm asking. In
No, no,
real
no.
exam,
There's nothing called silly question. I used to ask silly questions to everyone who is there. Was there like you don't trust me. I used to reach out to people on LinkedIn who used to post this course, and I used to ask them the experience, and they were used to like, how would I describe an experience over a chat?
yeah.
So and there is no silly question. So I don't think any question is a silly question.
So
So
so what was your experience mocks with respect to the real GMAT, and how
I'd
did you
say
feel?
I just gave six, like I bought all the six official mocks, like the two were there and I bought four mocks. So I gave I took one, the first and the second mocks twice, third and the fourth mock twice, fifth and the sixth mock once. So this
Okay.
was my strategy for mocks, and I took one external mock from EGMAT. That was a free mock, but I didn't find the level at par with GMAT because their quants were very tough and the verbal were very easy. Was very easy. So like I won't say that it is recommended, and Anshul also told me at that time like why are you concentrating on unofficial things. Just it was like 1 to 2 weeks from the exam, and I asked on the group that should I take the GMAT marks and all. So Anshul also told me that don't go for it. So it was one of the best advices I got. So yeah, I didn't go for any external sources. But yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
No, one question is there means what was as if I consider the toughness of the questions, is it
Toughness.
more
Yeah,
tough?
it was almost of same level. I didn't find any, like many people I found that they say that it's difficult than the mocks. I didn't find that because
Mhm.
but generally speaking, it follows the same algorithm. Like if you start getting questions right, you will get tough questions. So you can't change that. So, if you are getting high scoring marks, and so you are familiar with tough questions. So I didn't feel that it was very different. Yeah, I would say that the questions are around 5-6 years like older in the marks. If you search any question on Google, you'll
GMAT
find
club, yeah.
in GMAT Club there is 2017, 2016 questions. So the question pattern, I would say, has been updated a bit, but there is no real difference. I didn't find any real difference, so I won't comment on that.
And
Yeah.
your may I know your mock scores?
Yeah,
In
so that is one of the funniest parts. So I started with when I started my preparation, I scored 510. So uh, can you please mute anyone who's not talking? Yeah, so I started my preparation with a 510, when I didn't know anything about GMAT. So I just took a GMAT practice test one, just like that, before starting preparation, like a diagnostic test. And I was like, when I got a 510, I was like, whether GMAT is like, I was very confused, like whether GMAT is for me or not, because 510 score, like people used to say, like even if you don't study, you did get a 510. So like it was very disheartening. But yeah, so my first score was 510. After I completed my preparation, it was 650, then 680, then 710, 730, 720.
oh, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So this is for me, and
Hmm.
others are waiting. Congratulations again.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Anana. Thank you. And all the best for your exam.
thanks. I will let you know. Bye.
Sure, sure.
So my questions are completed. Anyone want to ask? Please go ahead.
Hi Nilanjan, am I audible?
Yeah.
Vishnu,
Hi,
if
Vishnu.
possible, please switch on your camera while asking questions.
Uh, okay, I was not camera prepared. If you could just, is it
Oh,
okay if I was not camera prepared. Is it okay if I ask without the camera, or should I just
it's
mute
not
my?
really a fashion or something. No one is going to judge you. There is nothing called as camera prepared. It's an informal session. It is always human to put an image to your name, right, while asking questions.
Oh, sure. No, it's just that basic etiquette. It's putting on a
That's
t-shirt and all.
completely okay. No one is here to judge you.
Cool. So, yeah, Nilanjan, just wanted to know. So, you said that you started off with a 510, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes.
And then you had prepared for around 2 months of you prepared theory for 2 months and then 1 month completely practice. Is that right?
I missed the middle part. Can you please come again?
Yeah. So you started off with a 510 and then you
Yes.
prepared for 2 months complete theory and then 1 month of practice mocks and everything. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So can you just break the preparation part down? Like, did you start with verbal? Did you start with quant? Like, what are the resources that you used? Or, how many hours did you prepare on a day? And like basic any tips that we should be focusing on while preparing, right? Must avoid tips and things like that.
Okay. I like one of the fundamentals of my preparation was I didn't give any preference to verbal or quant. So I didn't have anything like I will start with quant or then I'll catch up with verbal. I gave equal importance to both. So that was one of the fundamentals of my preparation. Um, I would say that I started off with so I was enrolled in a coaching with like I was going through I was like, and then I was enrolled with them. So it is very important to get your concepts on point as you were starting. So uh, the first point of concern for me was the concepts. So I took CAT, but it was like around 3 years back. So it was I was like I started to forget a lot of concepts, especially in geometry, and I didn't have any concerns regarding SC, CR, anything. So For SC and CR, it was very new for me. And although geometry and all, I started to forget. I think that those were things I have seen before. But SC is the kind of a thing that you haven't seen ever. Like the way we speak in India, especially, there is no relation with SC. We don't maintain parallelism. We don't maintain anything. So my first point of concern was to get the things right where I was weak on. So first thing I did was I analyzed that 510 score. Where did I go wrong? Almost everywhere I had issues, but the most issues I had was in ST, was in geometry. So the first, I would say it is very important if you are taking a diagnostic mock, it is very important to analyze the sections and the areas you need to put your most focus on. It is irrespective of anything, like it is quant or bubble. Like I am an engineer as well. So we think that quant is very easy. We can catch up being an engineer, but sometimes it gets very tricky. In GMAT, it gets very tricky because they also know because if you look at GMAT percentiles, like if you have a 42 in GMAT gives you around 98 percentile in verbal. But even a 51 in quant gives you 97 percentile. So you can understand the level of people taking the test. So questions like at a 51 level, you will get a lot tougher questions. So it is very important, I would say, to break your strengths and weaknesses. Work on your strengths, make them more make them better. But your weaknesses should be your strengths in the next 2 months you prepare. So that should be the way to go, is what I feel. And like the first thing you should focus on is the concepts. Like if your concept isn't on point, no matter how many questions you solve, if you even solve 100,000 questions, like the preparation will fall apart at some place. So yeah, the first main focus should be concepts, and then the questions you solve. Anything else you wanted to know, you can just specify.
So when you said that you were focusing on your strong areas and weak areas, sorry.
Vishnu, you're not audible. You're on mute.
Or were you taking small, practice test or something of that sort to understand?
I didn't miss the middle part. You're on mute. Can you please stop again?
Oh, sorry. I was just getting a call. So my question was, when you were identifying your weak areas and strong areas, did you do that from your first mock, or in between were you taking a couple of practice tests or something of that sort, just to understand, okay, where am I at this point?
I would say that I wasn't taking any practice test during my preparation phase. It was mostly I was solving, like when I felt like when I had a feeling in myself that my preparation was okay, and I can take some questions. So I was solving questions. So yeah, you can solve, like again. Many people reached out regarding the preparation material I've used. I felt that like the official materials are enough. If you still want to do other things other than the official materials, then anything you can pick up. Like there are a lot of like Magoo, top 1%, EGMAT, everything. So anything you can pick up and do questions. There is no harm in solving more questions. But as I'm sure also mentions every time, that official questions are the way to go. But if you still like many people have like do not like want more questions to solve, then you can go for any questions, but you have to focus on accuracy. So accuracy is our main game changer. So when I started with HC question solving, my accuracy was around 20%. So for every 10 questions I used to solve, I got at maximum 2 right. So it was a big point of concern. So I started with revising all the grammar concepts, parallelism. Where do I use parallelism? What is cause and effect? Meaning clarity. So everything I put together, prepared for 1 month. Then again, I used to solve more questions without looking at the solution. So one more thing, you should like try not looking at the solution unless and until you give your best and feel that no, like I can't solve this in next 24 or 48 hours. So then look at the solution. Like we have this tendency, and it is a normal human tendency. I also had that. So then see, whenever I feel it's tough, be it quant, be it verbal, be it anything, whenever we feel it's tough, we'll just look at the solution and it's like, oh wow, this is the way to solve. I'm so dumb, and I go to the next question. So this I feel it will not print on your brain. and you will forget that in 2 3 days down the line. But if you're thinking about that for a lot of time, like you are like you are in office, you are in road, you are in car, you're thinking about that, you're thinking about that, how can it be solved, how can it be solved, then I feel the things become a lot easier. And even if you look at the solution after that as well, then it gets printed on your mind. So that is one thing. Next thing I would say that it is very important to be very clear about what you want. Like many of us are not clear about what we want, like, or what our strengths are. So my strength was verbal. So even though I'm an engineer, my strength was always being verbal, and I was very clear on that. I didn't have this ego that I'm an engineer, I should have my quant on point and let verbal be anything. Like verbal is already good, let it be. So if you are good at something, if you look at my score split as well, like verbal is a like quant is a very average score. I still would say the quant is a very average score. But verbal took the maximum gain. So I felt that if you're good at something, make it the best. So it is not like I'm good at something and average at this, and then I'll try the average thing to be the best rather than making the good thing to be the best. Because
Nilanjan, I would want to
yeah.
stop you there because I just want to add this from my own experience also, because this is very important. And I have seen many people making this mistake.
Always try to make these worst areas to be the best. That is not the way to go, because we don't have, because even in CAT and everything you got 1 year to prepare. So there you have that scope a bit to work on things and get them. But here generally we have a 3 months timeline for us. Generally, I'm saying general population thing. Maybe you have 4 months, 6 months, 2 months, 1 month timeline on your head. But generally we have a 3 month timeline for a GMAT test. So for 3 months, 1 month goes into revision, mock test, and everything. So generally we have 2 months to prepare and go into the test. So I don't think you can make a drastic change to anything in this 1 month, but you can obviously make it better. So I am not saying that don't work on things you are weak on, but yeah, don't put your soul and everything into it. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to know, Vishnu?
So make your strong areas stronger and make your weak areas probably kind of an average.
Yeah, better. Less weaker. I would say less weaker.
Got
Or
it.
yeah, better. Yeah.
Got it.
When I was doing CR, I realized I cannot make this topic strong no matter how much hard I was trying. It was not, I almost gave up. Even in the GMAT, I remember I did Akkad Bakkad Bombay Bo for 2 CR questions. I couldn't understand the question stem itself. I'm like, what to do? I cannot really beat myself up because I'm not able to do it. I chose something, I eliminated 2 or 3 options, and then I chose one of them. And I think I did it for 2 or 3 questions in real GMAT.
Yeah, so Nilanjan, thanks for answering the questions. I'll probably have a couple more questions. I'll just then I'll come back.
Sure. You can ask later. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi Nilanjan, Manu this side.
Yeah, hi Manu, good morning.
I saw a very great score for you on verbal, and congrats for that. What would you suggest from, like, obviously official questions are the ones which we need to practice, but sometimes the explanation for sentence correction really on the official score is on the official guide is not, it says that the sentence is awkward, it's so wordy. That doesn't actually gives me a real explanation. So what would be the source for practicing the sentence correction apart from official guide?
I feel that official guide questions has a much better explanation in GMAT Club. So if you just copy a question from official guide and paste it on GMAT Club, you'll find a whole lot of explanations. Unlike like as you mentioned that the official guide explanations aren't enough, and if you're not enrolled in any coaching or anything, then I feel the best way to go about it is copy the question and paste it in GMAT Club. You'll find a whole lot of solutions that have been presented, and you can take up anything you like. So that I feel can be a good way to go about it.
Yeah, and apart from that, any other focus? What would you say to someone like the a specific strategy for verbal, actually, because verbal is really my pain point, which I am struggling since past 2 months.
What are you struggling on? All three areas.
Basically on overall it's below average, but sentence correction and critical reasoning is really the area of improvement for me.
So are you getting enough time to solve the critical reasoning and sentence correction, or like are you is the accuracy the problem?
Accuracy is the problem. Accuracy is the problem. Currently, I'm not giving the tests like time bound. I'm just solving it. And the accuracy, as you told, sometimes it falls as low as 20%. Sometimes it's 50%.
So, Manu, I'll tell you two things. Number one is for RC, sorry, for CR and SC, the most important thing I'd say is muscle memory. So, the more you practice, the more you start to see things that you were not able to see, suppose 2 months before. Okay, this is number one. Number two is understanding the solution which you are not able to solve. Like as I said, my accuracy was around 20% when I started off with the preparation of SC. So what I did was like when I used to visit the solutions, I used to understand that what went exactly wrong, and unless and until I totally understood that part, like yeah, this is the area I got it wrong. Say meaning clarity or parallelism. Like many of us would do what, like I'll just look at the solution. Suppose we mark B, then we see that the suppose option E is the solution. We'll just go through the, like think of it like what argument like can weaken the solution, can weaken that statement, can strengthen the statement. Even what happened to me was when I was in a meeting, someone was making a statement. My brain was thinking what can be a possible statement that could weaken this his conclusion or his argument. So if you start implementing in your day-to-day life, like whenever you are seeing a mail, like if you start identifying that what can be a sentence addition to this, or when you are seeing an argument, or when you see someone is making a statement to you, see this is right, and someone is making this saying this is right because he feels that this is the case, this is the argument, this is right. You can think that what assumptions is his arguments based on. So you have to reach such a stage that if you are targeting over 40 in verbal or 42 in verbal, the main thing is like it should be in your veins. Like whenever you see a question, your brain should automatically start to eliminate options. Like it is not you. Like as Anshul said, in he SC he used to solve in 15 seconds. Like if a person is solving in 15 seconds a GMAT level question, that means his brain is already functioning in a way that he is eliminating like options. Now, how is he eliminating options? So like he has all those principles, all those things embedded so well that like the brain automatically sees the question and sees the first option, and it is no, it can't be right. And even if you can't like pinpoint the exact error, like you still like you get an intuition that it is wrong, and that intuition should be correct. Like normally when you start off with the preparation, generally we start to solve with intuition, but that's a very wrong approach, I would say, because that at that time that intuition is inferred from our day-to-day speaking style. So our day-to-day speaking style has no relation with GMAT verbal. You can write this on my name that GMAT verbal, or rather GMAT SC, has no relation with how we speak day-to-day. So that is one of the things, and we generally try to use intuition in sentence correction, but intuition has no place in sentence correction. I am saying because I made this mistake, I don't want you guys to make that mistake. So just get this on your head that intuition has no place unless and until you're totally done with the preparation. You know all the principles, you know how the GMAT SC works, and you know that what exactly is being tested. After that, then your intuition will work in a way that it will start like functioning on their own when they say a question, and that can only be possible if you solve enough number of questions and if you start like implementing it in your day-to-day life. Like this was my like type of thing. Like it may not work for everyone. Like what worked for me is like I started to implement in a day-to-day life, and it worked wonders. Like even if my mom is calling me and making a statement, even I used to think that what are the areas she can we get wrong, what are the arguments. So it may sound childish, but yeah, it helped me a lot.
Yeah, thanks Nilanjan for the detailed analysis. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, all the best.
Hi, Nilanjan, Sneha here.
Yeah, hi. Good morning.
First of all, yeah, good morning. Congratulations on your score.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so I am also in the last 2-3 weeks phase. So I have my exam scheduled very soon. The concept part is done. So right now speed is the problem. So I'm working on that. I'm missing out on a lot of questions. So
On
my first
verbal or quant?
quants verbal, the time is
Okay.
sufficient. I feel for the number of questions that is there. But cons, yeah, even though I'm able to solve them later on, but the speed is the problem. So I wanted to know the minimum. I mean, I'm missing out on questions. I wanted to know the minimum number of questions that we have to get right on the exam day to, be assured that we'll be getting 700 plus.
What's your target score?
710. Yeah, that
Okay.
is.
So basically, I would say for quant, I use a timing strategy. When you have around 20 questions left, you should have 40 minutes left on your clock. When you have 10 minute questions left, you should have 20 minutes left on your clock. And that was a strategy I used in quant. If you feel you have lesser time, like suppose when you have 20 questions left, if you feel that you have 35 minutes or 30 minutes, then I feel it is better to guess 2-3 questions in between, because then there is a there is the GMAT algorithm. Like if you miss questions, then there are penalties. And also there is the statement that has been mentioned on the official side, that if they see a timing disparity in the last few questions, like suppose your average solving time is around say 1.5 minutes per question, and suppose you solved the last 3-4 questions in 4-5 seconds, then also there is a penalty. So it is better if you could speed up the process in between when you see that you are falling behind time. Suppose just as I mentioned, that if you see the 20 questions you are left with, and if you have less than 40 minutes, or let's say around 35 minutes, then it will be better if you could please uh, like uh, uh, like accelerate your way through for next 3-4 questions. There are the data sufficiency question which you don't need to solve at all. Like if you look at the statements, and you can infer from there that you can go ahead with that. So that can be one of the strategy of timing. Next, I would say that it will be not I don't know how are you solving things, but it will not be very uh, I guess wise to solve with the data sufficiency questions fully. Like many of us make this mistake, that we try to solve the data sufficiency question. Like first we take the option A, and then we try to solve it fully and see no, it is not happening. Then we take the option B, then we take them together. It's better if you could just start with if you see that if you perform 1 to 2 steps and see that yeah, it can be solved, then you go to the next question. Like have that trust in yourself, that yeah, if I am getting this getting through this 1 and 2 steps, then I know that it can be solved with this statement, or it cannot be solved with this statement, whatever may be the case. But have the trust in yourself. Don't solve it fully, because that questions has a purpose. Those questions have a purpose, because they're not given to you to make you solve fully. And the timing allotted to them is also should be according to that. If you are giving same time to the PS and DS, then it will be a problem, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So out of 31 questions, I mean, it's not possible to be, consistent with all the questions. So till where we can we can be okay, from now on we can start guessing, or as you said, there's a penalty.
So
So
first 10 questions, everyone has said that the first 10 questions are the most important.
that is true,
So,
right?
so first 10 question, there is no thing like that. For 10 to 20, as I said, 10 to 20 and 20 to 30, as I mentioned, that if you feel you're falling behind time, then you can, it is not a very random guess like Jai Mata Di and option C.
Yeah,
So it is like if you see a question, and if you have an intuition that yeah, this can work like this, and if you suppose there's a coordinate geometry question, and you can imagine on your own that yeah, this if this is the coordinate and this is passing through there, then this can be the equation of the line. So if you can imagine, or if you can employ any other methods rather than solving yourself, which will save you a lot of time. Say, suppose you can solve it in 10-20 seconds, then you can take a guess from there. But
Is
first,
it true that the first 10 to 15 question like matters a lot?
see, I don't know. I really don't know this because I have been hearing this since the day I started my preparation. Every forum, every like tutor mentions this. I exactly don't know what,
Like,
because
based on your mocks, have you seen like on getting first to 10 things is helping you score more? Have you noticed that like in
yeah. So what I've noticed is if you're getting like one of the most prominent things I've noticed is if you're getting say 2 to 3 questions wrong like back to back, like suppose you got 4, 5, 6 wrong, or 13, 14, 16 wrong, 15 wrong. So back to back wrong hurt your score a lot. Like if you're also guessing, you should not guess like 12, 13, 14, you just guess and move on. No, if you're also guessing, you should guess very diligently. Like you guess 12, then you go on and guess 15. So and you are sure the 13, 14 was correct. That is important as well. So the guessing is also strategy in GMAT. So what I felt during my preparation as well. But yeah, like first 10 question thing is itself a question for me. Maybe Anshul will be like answer that better than me, because yes, I've seen a lot of more students. So, but yeah, so I also concentrated on that. I tried to make very few mistakes in the first 10 questions.
Okay. So it was that also like with you, and I just wanted to know if it is just me, like I miss out on questions. Like after 15 and 16, the time that is there, it's very less. So from there onwards, I get nervous and I feel like I can't like solve everything. I have to, like I might have to start a little bit of guessing work.
I didn't get you. Can you please come again, Abhi?
So what happens with me is after 15th question, like 15th or 16th, the time that is there is very less. So I start the guessing work, like not just properly solving, because I feel like the time is very less, and so that I don't know if
That is hurting your score.
yeah.
So that's what I mentioned. So after 10 questions, look at the time. So see if you're less than 40 minutes left, then decide that which questions you want to guess. Like you just as you scroll through, if you find that this question is like worth of guessing, like if you have to determine yourself that like which question can be a good guess. So don't just try to like after 15 question, if you're seeing just 20 minutes left and you're starting like 5 questions, I guess, and then again I try to solve, then there's no point, right? Because out of 5 questions you guess, you have like normal probability says that you have only 20% chances of getting that correct. So if you have like if you are getting three you are giving 3 guesses, like it is 0.2 into 0.2 into 0.2, your probability getting 3 correct is negligible. So just don't guess consecutive questions. That is what my point is. Just don't guess consecutive questions. Get questions right. Get confident questions right, and then if you feel time is wrong, like not on your side, then you can guess a question.
Like in between, if we're not getting a question at all, we should just skip and like invest time somewhere else, like that, right?
Yes.
And you said that there's a penalty. Like what we usually do is when there's the last 2 minutes and we have questions remaining, we go on and guess work all of them.
Yeah,
Just to finish
so
all
I
the
also
questions.
read that in the official site that if you are like if you're like last 2-3 questions timing is drastically less than what your average timing is, then there is some penalty. Though they don't mention the penalty generally, but there is some penalty that is there.
Okay, so we should keep that to minimum.
You should keep that not the minimum. You should have at least say if your normal solving time is around 1.5 minutes, so that is around 4 or 6 minutes for the last 4 questions. So you should at least have 4 minutes on your hand, not lesser than that for the last 4 questions.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Yeah, please don't call me sir. You can call me Nilanjan. That is fine. Yeah.
Hi, Nilanjan.
Yeah.
So, as you previously mentioned, you have also appeared for CAT, and now you've appeared in GMAC. So, actually, I'll be giving CAT this year, and if things doesn't go well, I'll also sit for GMAC. So, what similarities did you find in terms of difficulties in the questions that appeared in GMAC, and for verbal, what was your strategy given the RC passages in GMAT are quite dense? So any tips for solving RC quicker in GMAT, if you can provide any tips? And again, congrats for your exceptional score.
Thank you. Yeah, so coming to CAT and GMAT, I felt that if you're done with CAT once, then it should be enough for GMAT, except the data sufficiency questions. Data sufficiency questions are a different type of question that you don't see on CAT. So that's one of the areas you should focus on if you are prepared for CAT diligently. It's not that you just prepared for 1-2 months and then trying to take the GMAT that I'm prepared for CAT and then not like that. But if you are prepared for CAT diligently, I feel the quant section, especially the problem solving part, is almost covered in CAT. And the questions it is my point of view that may be different for you, but I felt that the GMAT like problem solving questions are a bit on the easier side than CAT. So like for RC, you get like RCs from Aeon, Aces, etc. in CAT. So that is not the case with GMAT. GMAT and the GMAT generally focus on 2, 3, 4 principal genres, and like they give the RCs from there. And I felt that GMAT RCs are a little bit shorter than CAT. And if you are looking for a strategy, I feel that it is very important to go through the RC once and look for a tone. Like identifying the tone of the passage is very important. Like whether the author has an opinion or not. That is the first thing you should look for. If the author has an opinion, that is the primary purpose of the passage. So if in the first question, generally in RCs we see that what is the primary purpose of the passage. So if you see the author has an opinion in the passage, so that should be that area. So like generally we see people starting as like the author starting as normal facts, and then he's coming to his opinion. So it is very necessary to look for that area where the author is coming to his opinion. So that generally that is the area where you find the primary purpose of the passage. If this is a neutral passage, suppose the author doesn't have an opinion, he's just presenting facts, then it is very important to understand that what the author wants to do with the passage. Like, is he just wants to give information, or just present facts, or wants to change your perception about something? So the first and the foremost thing about passage is like you have to understand like what the author wants to do. What is the author's opinion? What is the tone of the passage? So these 2-3 things are very important. And going through, it is very important to verify your answers. Like after the primary purpose of the passage, most of the questions that come through are verifiable questions. Like if you are selecting an answer, you must make sure, like sometimes what we do is like we just mark an answer and we feel that we have read this, but that is the trick that the question setter is that is a trap, I would say. The question setter is setting up for you, that you have read it in some other context, but that line is there, and that's fine, that line is there, but you should also verify that the question's context and that context is matching or not. So that trap you should always avoid, because they will give a line that is a bet for you, that they will give a line that directly matches with the line of the passage, and you will not see anywhere and just mark the answer. But just don't do that. It is very important to verify the answers. Like if you see that line and the question's context matches, then only mark that answer, else look for the answer. And for inferences, I would say that it is very important to grasp all the concepts that is being presented. You will not find the exact answer for the inferred questions, but it's very important to understand what the author wants to mention, because you can't infer something that is not even being given on the passage. So I would say this should be my strategy for RC.
Thank you, Nilanjan. I think a very good tip on that option trap. My next question is, I have been following you on LinkedIn and even saw that you were working. So how did you manage your time in this 3 months of your preparation?
So my general routine was I used to get up at around 5:30, 6 o'clock. I used to solve around 3 to 4 RCs, around 10 to 20 quant questions in the morning. And I took around 1.5 hours in that. Then I used to get ready for office, and I used to leave office around 8:30. I used to come back around say 7:30. Sometimes it was too late. Then I had my routine. Like for the first 2 months, I had a can you mute? So I had my routine. So every day I used to I had a Google sheet that was that I prepared that what I used to do I will do that day. So I tried to follow that. If there were any backlog, I tried to cover that in the weekends, and I just tried my best to stick to the schedule. That's it.
Also, Nilanjan, I had another question on that. So when you started your preparation, did you just try to understand the topic, or you were simultaneously solving it? So you learned something, you solved it, or you were continuously learning something and then you started solving it?
No, like I was learning a bit. It was like not like solve I learned one topic and solve one topic's question. But yeah, 3, 4 topics I learned, and I tried to solve few questions and see where I stand, and then again come back, and if I'm lacking somewhere, come back, revise, and then again solve. So it was important, but yeah, not a lot of questions I used to solve after the preparation was over.
Okay. And in RC, what was your approach? So sometimes people say just read the first and the last line of a paragraph and you get the gist. You skim through it. Then few people also say read the questions first and then go through the passage. So any strategy that you followed?
So if you have really the first question is a primary purpose question. But in my experience in the GMAT, I didn't have a primary. I had only one primary purpose question. So if you have a primary purpose question, it is very, as I mentioned, it's very important to look for tone. If you look for opinion, look for why is it written. So generally the passages are on the left side on the GMAT, and the right side has the question. So it is very important, at least have a glance at the question. Don't go through the options and everything. It's not necessary, but at least have a glance. Like, what is the first question? Then when you go through the passage, that question will hover on your mind that this is the first question you need to solve. So whenever you are surfing through the passage, that question's answer is also you are searching for that answer simultaneously. So that helps in some cases, but generally I just have a glance. It's not like I'm going very deeply into the question and then starting the passage. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, Nilanjan. So adding to that question, and then you're here, just want to add a question regarding RC. So how much time did you take for solving RC set? Say there are 3 to 4 questions. Because as per my experience, I really struggle for solving the RC
So
within a stipulated
I
time.
started with around 10 minutes per RC, but I reduced it to 6 minutes, around 6 to 7 minutes. So my target was to reduce it to 5 minutes per RC, which I couldn't do. Generally that just before my exam, I was solving at around 6 to 7 minutes per RC. Like, not all questions. I'm just saying that the per RC, like going through the RC and solving the first question, and then the subsequent question in another 1 minute or so.
Adding further to the question, why do you have a good? I mean, you used to read every day. Like a few people suggest you should read novels and The Guardian, etc. Or you were just solving RCs.
For CAT, you need that. For GMAT, I don't think you need that, because if you are solving RCs, as I mentioned, my routine was to get up every day, solve for 3, 4 RCs. If you're solving 3, 4 RCs a day for around 2 months, I guess it's enough for GMAT RC. I don't need anything else. You don't need to just read on random things and accept. If you have problem, again, it's my point of view, because I'm not an avid reader. I have never been. For me, it was more of doing what was needed and then getting through. But if you have issues in understanding, sentences, structures, anything that is very fundamentals. Like I would say my fundamentals were okay. So if you have any issues with fundamentals, then I would say that you can read on some newspapers, passages, and all, try to understand their meaning, try to gauge their meanings. But if you have normal English fundamentals, or if your normal English fundamentals are fine, not very high level or something, normal English fundamentals are fine, then solving RC passages at least 2 to 3 per day for around 1 2 months is enough for a good RC score.
Okay, and do you used to make notes after reading every passage?
No. I just used to have notes on my brain, and I just used to verify everything I used to mark. I never use my intuition to mark. Like, yeah, this is the thing I read, and so I don't have to go back and check. I even I knew that this was the correct answer. I used to go back to the place where this question is based on. I again used to read that 2 3 lines, and then I can come back and mark the answer.
That's excellent. Did it happen that you were confused between two options, and what was your strategy that time during the exam?
So then this is the one more common thing in CAT and GMAT. Like at the end of the day, you are confused with two options. So my general thought process were like that: how will I eliminate? So it is mostly I try to read again and again and try to understand that what the author means and what the author doesn't mean. So it is I don't have a strategy for that. It is just the intuition that comes at that point, and if you what you feel at that point, that what the author means, what the author doesn't mean. So someday it will not go in my favor. Suppose if I write the GMAT today again, suppose that will not go in my favor, and I'll score 700. So that can happen. I don't disagree to that. But yeah, that's on your intuition and luck a bit. So because those two options are very close and they are made close to waste your time, to make you confused. So we have to deal with that. So there's no specific strategy for that.
Sure. Thanks, Nilanjan, and all the best for your school applications.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, and all the best to you too.
Nilanjan, anything on the error log?
Error log, yeah, I did have an error log. So I used to have an error log day-to-day wise. So there were 4 headings to my error log, like quant, SC, CR, and RC. So I just used to mention the topics I got wrong today. Suppose if I SC, I got 4 questions wrong, and so I just used to mention the parallelism, comma, 1 I got wrong, cause and effect 1 I got wrong, meaning clarity, -1 I got wrong. So I used to mention like this, and I used to check after 7 days on a rolling basis that whether this is decreasing or increasing, and if something is increasing, suppose I'm getting more parallelism questions wrong, then again I have to go back to the parallelism like fundamentals, basics, and again prepare and come back again.
So basically Excel based or a handwritten one?
Yes, Excel based. Generally Excel based. I used to handwriting as well some because I'm very lazy.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Hi Nilanjan. I had one question on like you mentioned that you used to solve 3 to 4 essays in the morning. So like what are the sources that one should refer, like apart from the official guide? Because like I'm struggling to find good resources. I haven't signed up with any test prep for now. Because I have a background of CAT, so I'm very comfortable with my quants and a bit of verbal as well. But like I'm struggling to find good resources apart from the original guide. So
I will answer that question, Aditya, and then I will also let Nilanjan answer this question. You
Sure.
really do not need anything apart from official sources. There are more than enough official sources available. You have OG, you have BR, you have QR. Right? There are 3 books. I have also strongly advised to buy another edition of these 3 books. Maybe 2 or 3 older edition, 2 or 3 years older, not buy, you will easily get PDFs, which makes it to 6 books in total.
Correct.
Then followed by advanced GMAT once you have started getting around 700 in mocks, which makes it to 7 books. Then followed by all the paid and free mock test on mba.com. Till you are done with all this, please do not say you are falling short of official sources.
Like for me, like I have recently started my GMAT prep, and like I'm doing quants from the GMAT club. So I've got their test and I'm solving them.
Will you take this ahead?
I feel that GMAT club is good. I don't have any issues with GMAT club, but I guess if you complete OG and advanced, because advanced I picked up a lot later, because if Anshul remembers, I was making like very stupid mistakes. I even made one of them in the test as well. So I used to post that in the group, like this is my mistake I'm making. And when I got the 680 score, like 3 weeks before, I posted on the group, and Anshul just said that your verbal score is really good. You just have to work on I at that time I got on 39 verbal and around 45, 44 or 45 in quant. So you just need to concentrate on the quant part, and he just mentioned that concentrate on advanced. And last two, like after that for 2 weeks, I just did advanced, nothing else. So if you concentrate on OG and advanced, as Anshul mentioned, there is no way other than that. So if you again, I mentioned that if you want to solve more questions, if you're done with OG and advanced, if you want to solve more questions, you can surely refer GMAT Club. And GMAT Club also has this OG button as well, as far as I remember. So if you want to see more ways to solve a question, there are many people who are posting their comments and all. If you want to see more ways how we can solve a question and all, so there and you can go through OG and GMAT Club. But I'd say the official sources can be trusted a lot, and that is enough.
Got it. Also, should one consider joining some coaching? Like I have a background of CAT. Like I've prepared for that for 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years back. But yeah, should one consider, like, are we missing out on something if we don't join?
I feel that I joined a coaching, so I felt that because I also had a CAT background, but still joined a coaching because I felt that from the concept part, it is difficult to grasp only through solutions. Like if you're practicing OG or anything else, like it is the concepts part, it is difficult to grasp. Like I found it difficult to grasp because it's like. Solving question and trying to understand the solution and trying to understand the problem. There are many, if you don't want to join a coaching, be it for any constraints you have, there are many free sources on the web as well. That is free materials available where they're explaining well. There are videos on YouTube for concepts. But I wanted a more structured thing, like YouTube and everything on the web is very scattered kind of sources. I wanted a more structured thinking, structured process and kind of thing. So if you're looking for very structured preparation and like people like you are like a bit lazy like me, who you want to like have like someone, you want someone to like guide you through the process, then I feel the coaching can be a way to go.
So would you like suggest some of like which one should we
for the coaching?
Because there again there are a lot of options, so it's really confusing which one to go for.
So I don't have experience with any other. I joined with top 1%. Okay. So I don't have experience with others, so I don't want to comment on others because it would not be ethical on my part, because that is not ethical. So I found it really good. Like I joined in top 1%, their techniques and the ways to approach a problem, the concepts, I found it really good. But yeah, so I don't know about others. If you
Nilanjan, did you join the self-paced one or the live?
Self-paced.
The recorded one.
Yes, because the live sessions, like you have to spend 8 weeks just attend the Saturday, Sunday classes, and then like you can't have your own timelines, and that is very difficult to manage, at least if you're working. So if you have that self-paced one, then you can just watch the videos at your own pace and then go on with the preparation. So I
wanted to add here for Aditya and everyone, guys, it is not really important which coaching you join, because always remember, you join coaching to pick up the concept. Once you have picked up the concept, it's all about how you practice with official sources. There is a similar video on our YouTube channel where I did a similar kind of interaction with Utkarsh, who had a 770. He took coaching from Crack Verbal. He took some different coaching, but he was able, but his practice also was exactly the same what Nilanjan is mentioning. If you listen to that video, that he only spent time with official sources. So that is not going to change. If you'll ask me, of course, I am not one of those 750 and 770 holders. I had a 730, which I think is okay. And when I took it back in 2016, 730 used to be amazing. Like 730 nahi aate the logo.
It's still amazing, Anshul.
No, I don't think so. But okay, thank you. So I took GMAT only for verbal. I realized the way Nilanjan said, even verbal was my stronger point. Because I have been an avid reader, and especially 3 years before GMAT, every year I had read 50 books in 1 year, one book per week. So I knew my verbal is strong. I wanted to make it more stronger. So I took GMAT verbal and it helped me. Quant I used Manhattan Strategy Guide to know the concept, and then I started practicing immediately from OG. So do due diligence, find out which coaching is working well for you. Pick up the concept and then immediately start practicing questions from OGVR, QR, Advanced GMAT, back to previous editions of OGVR, QR.
Yes.
I just wanted to add that. Okay, Nilanjan.
Coachings are only required, as Anshul mentioned, for concept picking. So if you don't want to have your concept scattered, like you're taking something from here, something from there, and then if you want it in a structured way, then it is better if you could just to join a coaching, any coaching, whatever suits you, and then pick up the concepts and start practicing. So yeah.
So should we join the coaching like immediately when we are starting the prep, or should we do
yeah, because concepts are the primary thing you should focus on, as per if your concepts is the primary thing you're focusing on, then the coaching should be your first point, because you're joining coaching not to practice questions or not to give mocks, right? You're joining coaching to clear your concepts, and concepts is your primary thing. So coaching should be the first thing on your mind if you are it's starting off with the preparation and want a coaching for your concepts.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Nilanjan and Anshul, Kelly this side.
Hi.
So I was just right now I'm just doing that OG stuff. Okay, so right now I'm doing that OG 2022, and my question was regarding that accuracy means how much accuracy we should be targeting of right now. If I can quote, my one is the CR I'm getting nearby 70% accuracy.
I will tell 100% you should go target.
That is the reason. See, I'm getting a really hard time with solving the R's. Is like it is nearby 50 to 60%, and it is better for quant. Means if quant I'm getting on an average 80% accuracy for that. So that is what I was thinking. Like, okay, when you solve that OG, how good you were at?
Khelu, I would say that I was pretty average, as I already started with 510. 2, I was getting 20% accuracy on SC. RC was around 50% or something. CR was same, around 50-60%. So I was pretty average. So I like I hear many toppers interviews and all. So many of them mentioned that they have already had a 70% accuracy and they took it to 90 and 95%. But I didn't have a thing like that. I had to work my way through, and that's why I understand your positions as well, because it is very important. If you like many of many of us are very talented, so they have this grasp over things a lot earlier than what we used to get. But for us who starts in a very in novice position, suppose as I mentioned that 20%, 30%, 40% accuracy of 510 score is a very novice position, and then work your way through up. It's a very difficult way, but it's worth it, I would say. So if you continue with the process will make you a better person, or a better solver rather. So you have to have that patience, because don't get like I also, when I got a 650 after preparing for 2 months, it was like, no, I got understood. I used to think that no, this is I'll score around this range only, 650 to 680 only. So don't get worked up. The first thing, don't think that this is not for you, and everything is for everyone, is what I feel. If you can work hard, if you can like put your best, like everything is for everyone. Like I also see a lot of questions coming on the group that is GMAT for me, is ISB for me. So I feel everything is for everyone if you are like going through things in a proper way. So don't feel discouraged. Just continue with the process. Understand solutions well. Don't make the mistakes you have already made in the next test. Try to remember those mistakes, what you have made, and what were the solutions to that. Try to devise a solution to those mistakes before you go on to the next test. Suppose you are maintaining, you are getting, suppose CR weekend questions wrong in 4 to 5 tests consecutively. Try not to have like try to go back to the basics. Understand what is weekend, how we can solve weekend questions, and then solve the next another 5 tests or another 50 questions, because there is no point in like if you're making mistakes and then again if you're keeping to solve questions, there is no point rather, because you'll make the same mistakes again. So if you like once or twice it's fine, but if you're making the same mistakes, try to go back to the basics, try to do some fundamentals again, and then again come back and solve questions. And don't get disheartened at any point. It is a very I prepared for, like, it was my 100 days, 110 days. It's a very taxing journey, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, as you can see.
Okay, thank you, Nilanjan.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope I answered all the questions, or anyone else who are left questions you can ask.
Sir, I joined late, sorry sir. But what was your GMAT score and how many attempts did you give?
I got a 750.
Okay, in how many attempts? Sir?
First attempt.
Oh, that is nice, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I wanted to say that I have total 8 years of experience, and I am into the working in the private organization. I have the salary range of close to 18 to 20 LPA. So I was thinking, shall I go for the MBA or just continue with this same same profile what I'm going through?
If
What is your name? Love Kaba.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Love, this is not the place to decide, help you decide if you should do an MBA or not. This is for people who have decided they want to do, and they want to take GMAT route, and then they want to, I mean, of course, we will help them to take GMAT and, do the application. This decision you need to do it on your own. You need to take on your own. You need to do your own cost benefit analysis and decide if you want to do MBA or not. We are not career counselors here. We can help once you have decided. Nilanjan can help you to guide about GMAT. I can help you to get through ISB or IIMs for 1 year MBA, or Tanmay can help you to go abroad. But we cannot help you to decide if you should do an MBA or not. So it is kind of irrelevant. So I would not allow this question on this platform. I hope you understand. This kind of questions are open to discussion on the group. You put on the group, people can give their opinion. That's it. Please keep the discussion limited to GMAT, at least for this call.
Okay.
I hope there are no more questions.
Hi, I had a question.
Sure.
So see, the time for preparation is limited. We have 2 to 3 months, and you also prepared for 3 months. So finding what is the right thing to have your foundations correct. I might take a platform like Magoosh and study for 1 month from them, and later on realize, oh, this platform was not right for me. Then I have to spend another 1 month moving to another platform. So this hopping from one platform to another platform will eat up a lot of my time, and in the end I won't have a lot of time then to actually prepare and give the examination. I know everybody kind of goes through a platform and finds the right platform for themselves, but if I am juggling between which platform should be the right one for me to study, that's my concern as of now, for verbal especially.
Monica, how do you define not right?
Yeah, I am actually, I have taken Magoosh subscription. I'm studying from there, where I feel I'm still making errors while solving questions from OG. So I question myself, am I at the right platform while I'm working on my basics So this is the question which I mean, I
So
end up having
it's
in my
not
mind.
like this is again a CR question. So it's not like it's not always the platform. Maybe you're not going wrong in the platform. Maybe you're going wrong in your approach in solving the questions, or you have not like grasped all the concepts that were taught in the platform. So that weakens the argument for in there. So I would say that it is very important to take the demo classes. Like most of the coaching classes have the demos. Like they have some free lectures, free demo classes. So it's very important to go through them and understand that whether you have, like, the main problem that happens is like some coaching centers teach at a level like they already assume that you know this much of things. And
Yeah.
then they start, suppose they assume they know till 20 and they start from 30. So then many of them don't cover from 1 to 20 rather. So it's very important to understand that what is the teaching level, and because everyone is teaching the same thing one way or the other. The techniques may be different, but everyone is teaching the same thing because the exam doesn't change, right? Because it's just the ways are different. So you just have to understand by the demo classes or the free classes is that whether or not you are able to grasp their ways, rather the ways and the levels they're teaching on. Except that if you are still like, even if you have gone through 1 month of preparation and then you're getting questions wrong, it is very 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 natural. Like after 1 month I also got a lot of questions wrong. There is nothing wrong, and there is no point of blaming the coaching center for that. It is very important
Yeah,
to introspect.
I understand.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
but I'm not blaming the coaching here.
No, no, no.
What I'm
Blaming as in
trying to say,
I'm
yeah,
saying
my concern
yeah.
is I have this question for myself whether I'm on the right platform or not. Obviously, it's my concepts are not strong. That is why I have this I'm in this dilemma. But yeah, I got your point that I need to focus on, and it's the 1 month is not a very long time for me to see whether to track my
So you have some
preparation.
parameters to decide that whether or not it's a right platform for me. So you're asking this question, right? That whether it's a right platform for me or not. So you have to have these parameters to understand, right? That whether or not this is the right platform. You have to see that is this, whether I'm understanding the concepts. If someone is teaching a concept, whether you are understanding or not, whether you are finding it difficult to even understand or grasp the concept. If that's the problem, then you have to change the platform. But if you have understood the concepts but you are not able to apply, that is the thing that will come with practice. That no coaching center will ever teach you that how to apply those concepts. They will teach you concepts. They
Yeah.
will give some questions. They will allow you to like solve them. But no coaching center will ever, so like there's a like, if you practice 1,000 variety of questions, you can get the 1,001 variety in the exam. So no coaching center will do that. So you have to understand that if whether you are facing problems in understanding the questions or understanding the concepts, and if that is a problem, that is a wrong I feel the wrong area to work on.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anshul, I hope you're done. Or
Hey, Nilanjan, this is Sudhir.
Yeah, hi. Hi.
Nilanjan, I just wanted to know if you.
Please
Hello.
please mute. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. If you want to plan for a 780 or 800 now, what would you what do you think you would have done? I mean, you would have improved on.
I would have made less silly mistakes, because in quant I made 2 blunders. As I mentioned on the group, I don't know whether you've seen it or not. Like there was a question where if x is a natural number and I considered negative values for that, and then I like realized that 2 questions after that, then I missed that question as well, thinking about that question that how can I make such a big blunder. So if I would not maybe have got around 3 to 4 questions right in quant like that, then my quant score I would have been around 49 or 50. then that score would have been on 780, 770. And verbal, I don't see a huge scope of improvement, but quant, I could have made less silly mistakes. That's it.
Okay. And one more question following that.
Yeah.
In verbal, where do you see the questions, the flow of questions is making it difficult for you?
No, flow of questions as in, I didn't get you.
Hello?
I didn't get you. Flow of questions as in?
While you start your answering the verbal question, there is a point where you feel like you are stuck up or you're spending more time than the usual, right? So the reason for such is it about the question or the pattern, or is it about not having a proper understanding of the time that we need to put on it?
See, some questions are designed in such a way that it will take more time. Some questions are designed in such a way that it will take less time. So that is very natural. Suppose in a SC, if all to the total sentence, suppose there are three, this is a 3-line sentence, and the total sentence is underlined. So it is very difficult. At least it will take time, because to understand that, all you have to go through all the answers and understand. Because if a small area, suppose 4 or 5 words is underlined, are underlined, then it's very easier to find an answer, rather than if the full sentence is underlined and you have to find a substitution for the full sentence. Then it will take a lot more time. So the questions are designed in such a way that some questions are will take more time than others, and some questions will take lesser. So I don't feel that you should be worried about that a lot. But yeah, that you should have a like a guardrail on your mind, that beyond this I won't spend time on this question. Like, I had a guardrail of 1.5 minutes on my mind in verbal. Like, beyond 1.5 minutes, like for SC and CR, for RC I had this 8 minutes thing, but for SC and CR I had a guardrail of 1.5 minutes. So beyond 1.5 minutes, if I feel I'm still stuck at 20% of the question, then I'll just take a guess and move on. So that was my strategy. Your strategy might differ from me, but that was my strategy. If I after 1.5 minutes also I can't understand that what is being asked, and how can I like eliminate answers. As Anshul mentioned as well, in his CR questions, like, if you can't understand what like what can be the answer, then take your best guess and move on. Don't like it will be really good if you don't spend more than 2 minutes on such a question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Nilanjan, Akash this side. First of all, thank you for joining this call.
Thank you. No problem.
So I have a question. So currently I am facing some trouble with sentence correction part. Like rest of the question, like the areas in verbal as well as all the areas in quants are kind of well sorted, like with 90-95% accuracy. But sentence correction is somewhere I'm miserably doing bad. So could you help
And
me
did
with that?
you do a RCA, that is a root cause analysis?
So I try to do that. It's just that maybe the basis like adverbial modifier or it's a adjectival modifier, things like these are troubling me. Like if I get too much into technicals, I miss out on the meaning and I end up taking a intuitive guess. But that's how I know that's how it won't work. So I would really like to seek some tips where I could start from the bottom only.
So Akash, first thing is the problems you are mentioning. I also had them, and it will get better with practice. Now, practice is the only way to go about this. If you are seeing a pattern, like if you can spot a pattern, like you are getting like if you see a GMAT also, in my real GMAT also, I got almost 60 to 70% questions on parallelism. So parallelism is the most important concept in SC. So yeah, so you should if you see that if you are getting a lot of questions wrong in parallelism, then go back to the fundamentals, go back to the concepts, and again see that how to apply parallelism, what is the meaning of parallelism, how to maintain parallelism in a sentence. On like there are many situations where we don't apply parallelism, where we do apply parallelism. So I just give you an example on parallelism. You can do that on other concepts as well. So you can go back to the drawing board and start to analyze. Like if you can see a pattern, if you don't see a pattern, if you see that suppose you're getting to 10 questions of parallelism wrong today, and yes, tomorrow you get a two questions parallelism wrong and 10 questions of like other area wrong, then I would suggest that go back and try to analyze, try to do everything of sentence correction once more. I know it's a little bit taxing, but that is the only way we can like get it better. If you feel your concepts are lacking, if you feel you're making silly mistakes, if you can't see something like you should have seen, suppose you can't see, suppose a past perfect tense, if you didn't see a past perfect tense and moved on, or if you didn't see a punctuation. So if you feel such types of mistakes are occurring, then it is the only way to get them right at like practice. But if you see that the main problem is the concept error, you are saying something. Suppose, but I am again giving an example. Suppose we know that for past perfect tense, we have to have two situation, two time lengths or two situations happening. So if you see that, if you already, if you don't know that, if you see, if your intuition is saying that although just one situation has been talked about and still you are making like you are marking a past perfect answer, then that is a problem with the concept. Then you have to again go back and try to understand where to apply, how to apply, and again come back. It's so it's two things. It will be my recommendation. Number one is trying to three things rather, try to spot a trend, like what is the problem rather. Next is if it's a conceptual problem, it's a fundamental problem, go back and like try to understand those things more. Like go through such concept videos or whatever you are enrolled in or whatever you are going through for the concepts. Again, come back and solve those questions and then keep on practicing. And if you're getting things wrong, just go back to the solution and understand why that solution is correct and yours is wrong. Don't argue about that, like no, my answer was correct. This will not help, because at the end of the day you can't argue with the GMAT. So yeah, many times we feel that our answers are correct and GMAT is wrong. So this is a common phenomena, but there is no point, right? You can't take them to court for this. So there is no point. Rather convince yourself why that is right, rather than making yourself consoling yourself that I am right. So try to understand the solutions. What is the solution based on? And don't just go pass to the solution. Understand. Take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it takes. Sit down, understand the solution. Try to embed that in your head, and just try not to make the same mistake in the next question.
Right, Nilanjan. Nilanjan, just one thing. Actually, I'm not enrolled in any of the classes. I'm completely taking it solo right now. So could you suggest one good source for sentence correction where I could start on a very fundamental level?
Anshul will be the best person for that. Anshul, can you help here?
So for sentence correction, see, I used only two sources. One was Manhattan Strategy Guide. They explain it really well. And then I also used this thing, EGMAT, as I already mentioned. EGMAT sentence correction part was good and it helped me. And then I started solving questions. Most of my learning happened when I started solving questions. I started getting them wrong. And then I used to look at the solution and the explanation in the OG. 90% of the times the explanation on the OG is really good. If you're not able to find a good explanation and you're not able to understand the explanation, just Google the question. You will find some good explanation given by some tutor from US. And this is how most of the learning happened. I spent just 1 month to understand the concept and immediately jumped on practicing the questions.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Anshul. Thank you, Nilanjan.
Thank you.
Guys, we will end this call. It's been 1 hour and 30 minutes. And I'll make the recording available for people who couldn't attend. And thanks a lot, Nilanjan, for
thank you
your time on a Sunday morning and to help everyone in the group. And I'm pretty sure people would have good takeaways from this session, and all of you will, have a good score in GMAT and then eventually translate it into an admit. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.